Well, hello, welcome back to my little channel. This is Avid Diva for Life 71. Several days ago, I believe it was on New Year's Eve, I said I'm going to come back. I was going to do a video about uterine fibroids. I went through uterine fibroids from 2005 through 2011. Okay, it was a horrific experience. And like I said before on my channel multiple times, I did go through breast cancer almost 4 years ago now. And the uterine fibroids, the things I had done for that was worse than the cancer treatments. I mean, I don't want to go through neither one of them no more, okay? But it was a crazy experience going through the uterine fibroids, okay? So, but before I get started, any men in the room, if you don't want to hear about female issues and bleeding, all that kind of stuff, you can leave. I'm gonna give it a few minutes. Okay, you gone. All right. Now, I'm gonna show y'all a picture that I took prior. Okay, a few like weeks. Let me cover up my I was real cute in this picture, child. But I was wearing a see-through top. I'm gonna cover my boobs up. This right here, this picture was taken a few weeks prior to me being diagnosed with uterine fibroids. I had look at my stomach. Flat. I had a very, very flat stomach, okay? Very flat. Yes, very flat. I took this downstairs in my basement. This was back in 2005 when I took this picture, okay? That was my abs, okay? Because I was always working out. I was always, to this day, I do a lot of walking and stuff like that. So, but I was always serious about my, about keeping my stomach and everything flat. Now, shortly after taking that picture right there, my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband, he took that photo of me. Shortly after that, I noticed my abdomen was getting kind of, not like, it wasn't big, it was getting there. So I was like, what's going on? And then, my monthlies got this a little bit heavier, and I never really had a heavy monthly. So I was like, okay, what's going on? So I kind of like, let it just ride a little bit, whatever, just for like a couple of weeks. So then I made a doctor's appointment, okay? I went to my doctor, and she told me that I had fibroids. And I was like, I never heard of fibroids before. I was like, what the heck is, what's that? She said they're non-cancerous tumors, okay? Because in between that stage, I was thinking, am I pregnant? I don't know. Like, what's going on? I didn't know what the heck was going on. Okay. So then my monthlies got heavier and heavier and heavier. Okay. And I was bleeding so heavy, it got worse. So now that's 2005. And then we going into 2006. Okay. Now 2006, the bleeding got much worse. It got heavier and heavier, okay, to a point I was out of breath. And on my job, I park closer now, but back then I used to park like up on a hill. And it was maybe about 5-6 minute walk to my car from my job. And walking on that hill, it felt like I ran like a marathon. I was so out of breath, my heart beating through my ears. It was a horrible experience, okay? And I was continuously bleeding very heavy. So now I was calling these doctors, okay? Some of these male doctors was not taking me seriously, okay? So again, I let it go. And it got worse and worse. So now we're going into 2007, okay? Now 2007, I was preparing for my wedding, my August wedding, okay? Then, a coworker of mine, she came to me and she saw that because when you're losing blood, you're going to blow up, okay? On that picture, I was 140 pounds. I went from 140 to 180 in a few months, okay? So, and anybody who knows me know, hard for me to gain weight, hard. It took me a long time to put on 2 pounds, okay? So it was very hard for me to gain weight, and I like to eat. So, 2007 comes, my coworker saw me. She seen that something was wrong. She said, Denise, call these people right here. So I called the doctor, and I was like, okay. So I called this doctor, and he looked at my eyes, my gums, my tongue. And he kept saying, I'm thinking like, oh, Lord, here comes another male doctor not taking me seriously. I went home that night, and I was so tired. And exactly 10 o'clock that night, back in April of 2007, my doctor's office called me and said, Miss, by my last name, how do you feel? And I was like, oh, I feel terrible. I feel so tired. So they told me to go to the nearest emergency room. So I stayed between like I got a lot of major hospitals around where I'm living, but I went to the closest one that I usually go to. So they called the hospital and told them gave my name and stuff and told them I was coming. Now get up that night, put on some clothes, hair done, just put on something. So they told me I was afraid to drive. So I told, at the time, my boyfriend was living, he wasn't living here. He was living, away. So my sister went to go pick him up, brought him over here for him to drive me to the hospital. Because after that phone call, I was afraid to even drive, Because they told me I could have had a heart attack or a stroke at any time because my hemoglobin was so low. My hemoglobin was on 2, and that's deadly. So that's how much blood I lost. So when I got to the emergency room, I was just sitting there. Me and my boyfriend at the time, we were just sitting there. We just sitting there. The nurse, she kept getting up, looking out I said, why she keep getting up, looking outside? What is she doing? Because when I walked in, I checked in, gave my name, date of birth, phone number, address, everything. They said, okay, have a seat. Sat down, and they kept getting up, looking outside, like, okay. So then we sat there for about a half an hour, okay? And that's when they called my name, and the nurse, she screamed. And we were like, what's she screaming for? We were like, what's going on? She was like, oh my God, we've been waiting for you. You been sitting here all this time? Yeah. She said the way the doctor's office called and described my condition, that they was waiting for an ambulance. That's why she kept getting up, looking outside, like, where's no ambulance? So I said, no, we drove here. I've been sitting here for half an hour. So they hurry up. Them nurses came over there. They was getting me together. They put me on a stretcher. They took off my clothes, and they put a bedpan under me. And bless her heart, this one nurse, she was crying so bad. She said she had never seen a case like that before. I had to let the nurse know I'm not in pain. Thank God, I'm not in pain. And I was just stroking her hair. She had this long black hair. I was just stroking her hair like, ma'am, I'm okay. Please don't cry. Don't cry. She said, I've never seen me like this before. I feel so bad for her. She feeling bad for me. I'm feeling bad for her because she's crying. So, they called in one of the bombest OBGYNs in the state of Ohio. This is, at this time, we talking like 2-3 o'clock in the morning. I was in ICU, okay? All this, again, April 2007. So the OBGYN, she comes to my room. She comes to my bedside. She sat down and she started talking to me. She said, oh, so you the poster child for fibroids. And they called me out of my sleep to come here and said, you got to look at this woman. So we talked. I told her all my symptoms and how long I've been going through this. She said, you've been going through this since 2005? I said, yes, ma'am. Here it is, April 2007. And I told her I did go to several male doctors prior to seeing her, but nobody took me seriously. I went to another doctor that lives, he's around the corner from me. And he was going to give me Lupron shots, okay? He said, come back April 10th. Again, this is 2007. He said, come back April 10th. I'm going to give you Lupron shots. So I was like, bet. Now, never heard of Lupron shots in my life, okay? I went to my job. I'm just rewinding this back a little bit. But I went to my job, talked to another coworker who went through fibroids, asked her, what's Lupron shots? She told me what they was. So then I was going to go to my doctor and get the Lupron shots on April 10th, 2007. He's going to give me Depo-Provera. I said, no, you told me Lupron. He said, no, ma'am. I told you Depo-Provera. Sir, you told me Lupron. Because how the heck would I know about Lupron shots? I know about Depo-Provera, but I never heard of Lupron until you told me. I took it back to my job, asked my coworker about it. So I grabbed my purse. I said, no, sir. I grabbed my purse and I left. That was April 10th, 2007. So, and then like 3 days later, that's when I ended up in ICU at the hospital. And so I had to tell the OBGYN what happened, okay, with the male OBGYN that did the switcheroo on me, telling me he was going to give me Lupron, but then he said he didn't tell me that he was going to give me Depo-Provera. I said, oh, hell nah. I got my purse. I got up out of there. I was kind of, it is hard. I don't fall into depressions. I really don't. It's extremely hard for me to be depressed. But at that time, I fell into a slight depression because I was so tired. I was every little step. Even my bedroom and bathroom was only like a couple footsteps away. That was tiring me out. I was so tired just from walking from my bedroom to the bathroom. My heart was beating. I could hear my heart beating through my ears. So I was everything I was doing, I was like, it was like a straw, like the doctor said, it was like a straw. I was taking iron pills and orange juice, and blood comes right, it just coming out. It was flowing. So then, April of 2007, I had a blood transfusion because I was bleeding profusely, and that's when I started getting Lupron shots. So the female doctor finally gave me Lupron shots. Okay, so I was like, bet. So Lupron shots, in case you don't know, Lupron shots will menopause you temporarily. You have to get the shot every 90 days. So it don't hurt. It doesn't hurt. They get you shot like right in the fleshy part of your rectum. So like your hip area up here, I was getting my shot right there. I used to go in there like, yep, hit me, pull my dot, put it down. Like, here you go, hit me right here. Yep, and I'm gone. Okay, so I did that for several months. So every 3 months, I did it 3 times. Okay, so because it menopauses you, and oh my God, it was a great feeling just going without bleeding for all that long time. It felt wonderful to me. It really did. Okay, but after my blood transfusions, everything was fine. Then I had what they call a myomectomy in December of 2007. The Lupron shots were to also shrink your fibroids, so they don't have to cut so much and so deep, because when they were so big, they want to shrink the fibroids before they go in and cut them out. To cut them out and keep all your female parts intact, that's called a myomectomy. So I had that done actually December 5th, 2007. I had a myomectomy. So I was off work for about a month, and I was really up walking like a couple days. I was walking anyway, but they tell you don't drive, don't do steps. I think that time, I think I went Christmas shopping. I went driving like about a couple days later. Me and my bestie, Michelle, her and my daughter, we all went to the mall, and I went shopping. So I was driving. I felt good. It felt good to get out and just walk around. Okay, so that was December 2007. Went Christmas shopping, did the steps, driving. I did everything. I was off work for a month. Went back to work. Shortly after the MLK holiday, I was good. Now, 2008. Came around, everything was fine. 2009, everything was fine. So now here comes 2010. And I was like, oh, Lord, here we go again. It wasn't as bad, but they say once you have a myomectomy, you have about a 90% chance of the fibroids coming back, okay? So now I had a 2-year break. So then 2010, like the summer of 2010, I was like, okay, my monthlies was getting heavier. Not as bad as they were for 05, 06, and 07, but they were getting heavier again. Like I said, I never really had that heavy, heavy monthlies. So it was coming back. So I was like, oh, Lord. So then I went back to my OBGYN. They did another test on me and said, okay, Denise, it's time to go ahead and just get this out of you. I was like, oh, man, So went through that, and again, I bleeding heavy again. Like I said, it wasn't as bad as it was, but it was back. The fibroids, the fibroids wasn't as many, and wasn't as big as the previous were. Okay, so what I did was, of course, I was like, oh wow, okay, here we go again. And then when I turned 40. I turned 40 September of 2011, and I had a hysterectomy in November of 2011. I had a hysterectomy. So, and the hysterectomy was, like I said, it wasn't a bad surgery at all, but I would suggest, like I have with other women who was going through the same stuff I was going through, who had to have a hysterectomy. My suggestion is, and this is something I was never told prior to surgery, make sure you empty your bowels. Okay? If you're going to have a hysterectomy, please make sure you empty your bowels prior to a hysterectomy, at least a day before, because the pain from the pressure of your bowels bearing down on that, because when they put me back together, I had glue. They glued me back together. That pressure was no game. Okay? It was horrific. It was horrific. So empty your bowels before you have a hysterectomy. Now, I'm going to rewind this a little bit. What I'm going to do, though, I'm going to connect my story from 2023 to this video. That's what I'm going to do, so y'all can really see what I was talking about this on my other channel back in the summer of 2023. But anyway, rewind y'all back. When I was going to get my treatments for my, get tested and everything, for them to look at your fibroids, they want you to have a full bladder. So you have to drink all this water. Because they say they can't see they want to see behind your bladder. They can't really see it if your bladder is not full, which I don't understand that, but doctors, they know. So ladies, you have a full bladder. You're up on a table with your legs in stirrups, okay? And they take this humongous camera, maybe a little bit bigger than a cucumber, if not the same size of a huge cucumber. They put a condom on it. And they put that camera up in you. Hold on. I gotta take a drink after this one. Hold on, y'all. Okay. They put this huge camera up in you, and they move it around like this, and you lay on the table like you holding on for dear life to look around. And when you look at that screen, you like you're on planet Mars or something, because you see all those bubbles and humps, and it just looked crazy. So I said all that to say this. Ladies, if you have any type of uterine tumors, if they're not, I thank God they're not cancerous, okay? The doctors are still perplexed on how this stuff come about. They say, I read something that they say it's obesity. That wasn't obese. I know my mother and my sister had fibroids. It can be, hereditary. They say not eat enough leafy green vegetables. That's a lie, because I was eating salads almost daily, making collard greens almost really every single weekend. I had collard greens because I love green vegetables. I'm a green veggie freak, if y'all didn't know. So the doctors are still confused and still don't know what causes. People say, oh, dairy. I don't believe that. No, I don't believe that it's dairy. If the doctors don't know, and these doctors are scientists, if they don't know, we just make stuff up. I'm not going to make it up on what causes uterine fibroids, because the doctors are still, they still confused on what causes uterine fibroids. Okay? But thankfully, I just thank God every day that they were not cancerous, because there's a lot of women out here going through uterine cancer. So, but they're not cancerous. And for me, they wasn't painful, thank God. Losing all that blood, people ask me, like, did it mess with my hair, my skin? And it didn't. Thankfully, at that time, I was still perming my hair. I've been natural since 2012. And actually, that was the last time I put a relaxer in my hair, was the day before my surgery back in 2011. That was the last time I relaxed my hair. So, but it never messed with my hair. It didn't mess with my skin. But when my doctor looked at my eyes, they said your eyes should be nice and pink. Your gums and stuff like that, your tongue. If your tongue and stuff look all like pale, and your eyes and stuff, your eyelids, whatever, all pale, and your gums all pale, even if your hands and stuff is really pale, that's a lack of iron in your system. And my hemoglobin was on 2, which is extremely deadly. When they told me I could have had a heart attack or a stroke anytime, that freaked me out. That's why I didn't want to drive myself to the hospital. That's why my sister had to go get my boyfriend, who is now my husband. She had to go get him and bring him over here. Yeah, for him to drive me to the hospital. Because I didn't want my sister to drive me to the hospital, because, she got to get up and go to work, whatever. I felt my boyfriend, okay, you can stay with me, whatever. So you can tell the people, like, okay, Denise ain't going to be in because blah, 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 blah. But yeah, I was bleeding profusely. When I say profusely, it was like a slaughtered pig. I passed out a few times. I was outside doing my front lawn one time, and I passed out. I didn't even know it. I passed out. Oh, like on the side of my house over here. I fell out for, I don't know how long I was out, probably just for a few minutes, but I lost so much blood. It was just, it was crazy. But the male doctors was not taking me seriously. But that last male doctor I saw, who became my primary care physician, who retired now, bless his heart, he took me seriously. But I was looking at my tongue, my eyelids, and my hands and stuff. So yeah, he took me seriously. And his office is the one who called me that night and told me, please get to the nearest emergency room. Yeah. So I was bleeding so much. So they gave me, they gave me 2 units of blood. Then when I had my surgery, they gave me 1 unit of blood. Then from the time my fibroids was coming back, I started bleeding again, they gave me some more blood. So all in all, I had 6 units of blood before it was all over. 6 units of blood. Okay? From 2007 to 2011. Yeah, I had six units of blood altogether. So, and I haven't had any problems. Ladies, it does not, don't worry about what people say about, oh, dryness. No issues whatsoever. Everything to me has gotten better for me. I can't speak for everybody else, but I know for me, everything has gotten better. I was able to wear me a bikini again. I was able to wear white clothes, light clothes. I was able to wear, I was just able just to wear life again. Because I was like, I would, all that time, whatever, I was afraid to wear, I was afraid I didn't want to go nowhere. It was hard for me to go. I was at the movies one time, bled like a solid pig. I just started staying in the house. I didn't go nowhere for a while. It was hard for me to get out the house. But I was going to work, and even at work, I was bleeding. I was back and forth to the bathroom, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It was a lot. It was a lot. But, y'all, it's no game. So, ladies, if you are going through uterine fibroids, please get your surgery. Whether it's a myomectomy or a hysterectomy, get it. When I had my hysterectomy, like I said, I was 40 years old. I wasn't trying to have no more kids. I was done. I was like, you know what? I'm done. Take it, just snatch it out. And I had the myomectomy because I was, at the time I was 35. I was about to get married and everything, and I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen between the time I get married from the time, I don't know. So I'm gonna hold on to my girly parts in case I want to get, have a child, whatever. But I was like, you know what? It didn't happen. My daughter be 35 years old this year, so I was like, I am good, okay. So I thank God that I had that surgery because I've been good, Like I said, going through that was, to me, was worse than when I was going through the chemo treatment. The chemo, we already know, is a beast, okay? That poison going through your body. But the blood transfusions and the camera up in you like that, and you having to pee real bad, and you passing out, and it was crazy. It was crazy, y'all. It was, oh my God. So I'm going to connect, like I said earlier, I'm going to connect my story from my other page to this page. So you can, if you want to watch that one too, because, yeah, I did that back in the summer of 2023. Because, yeah, the whole experience was just, it was not a game, y'all. So, ladies, if you are going through that, please, I beg you, don't be afraid. Get the surgery. Get it. If you want some questions or answers or whatever, if you don't know nothing about certain things, contact me. You can just leave me a message down below, a question or whatever, and I will get back with you, of course, because I was saying I've been through this stuff. So I'm not talking about what somebody told me. I'm talking about what I've been through, what this body has been through, okay? So yeah, I was like I said, flat belly and all that right there. Let me have my top part, but like I said, flat stomach and all that right there. Yeah, that was, yep. Tell you, I was 140 pounds right here, from 140 to 180 in a few months. Because like when you have your monthly, how you get bloated. So I was constantly bleeding. So I put on 40 pounds that quick. That was crazy. But you guys take care. Happy New Year again to you. Lay low. Stay out the way. And again, I will connect my other story to this channel right here too. So you can watch that if you like to. So it was a horrific. It was... Just in case I left out some stuff, I know I probably went into more detail on my other one I did in 2023. I probably went into more detail on that story. Whew. But yeah, it's pretty much the same. But, you know, in case I left out something, you can go watch that one. Yeah, so you would know. But all right, y'all take care. God bless. And I will get back with y'all on the very next video. Deuces.